Since we've been on lockdown, many of us have used this time to watch shows we've always wanted to watch. I pray for all of you watching One Piece. Watching anime as your main media source, eventually all you want is something unique. Something that will have the same punch as the first time you saw standouts like Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, or Death Note. Let's just say I wasn't prepared for where my journey brought me, finally, to the legendary Gintama. In the first episodes of a shonen anime, the most popular shows always start with a goal in mind. I want to be the pirate, wizard, ninja king, the greatest hero, or I have to become strong enough to get revenge on the demon king of pop music. It creates a goal to look forward to as the show goes on, an easy way to measure growth, as we all know. Entering into Gintama, I knew it was primarily a comedy show, so I came in with the expectation that my precious shonen formula would be gone. And what I found filling the spot was so much more. Gintoki and the Oddjobs crew come together for the simple reason that they are misfits who need a place to belong. While this is a common trope, much like the Phantom Troupe, what sets this relationship apart from others is the dialogue. Constantly bantering about some day-to-day problem, whether it's food, lack of money, or how Shinpachi's a pair of glasses wearing a human, they actually interact in ways that are important to their individual relationships, regardless of if it pushes the episode's plot forward or not. As a comedy, Gintama can afford to have long conversations or speeches that other anime might not be able to get away with. Everyone has their little role in the world, their own history as to why they act the way they do. You know how everyone watching One Piece loves when the characters pair off when reaching an island? You get to see conversations between Zoro and Usopp, or Nami and Chopper about everyday things as the island gets introduced. This is Gintama's main baseline for character building. Exploring the city of Edo not only allows for an exploration of Gintoki's past, but also creates varied situations for the characters to thrive in. Gintoki, as the protagonist, does not change his personality very much over the course of the series. He's very static in his beliefs. What is dynamic about him is how he forms different relationships with each character as the story goes on. He opens up to Kagura and Shinpachi with his true feelings beyond his lazy, snarky persona, and begins mentoring them in the same way he was as a child. Gintoki's strengths are his unbreakable spirit and his compassion for others. While he may not show it at first, he deeply cares for each and every one of his friends. The small changes and developments that Gintoki does get are punctuated with flashbacks and introductions to characters from Gin's past, showing how he survived in the war and was betrayed, losing all he fought for. While currently still aimless in his day-to-day life, the reveal of why he lives with Otose and how he found something to protect reminds me of the end of Fate Zero with Kiritsugu Emiya. He was saved because he found something to stake his life on, something to protect, something that could give him a purpose again. As a story set in the Edo period of Japan, I think Gintama modernizes the concept of a ronin in the most relatable way possible, showcasing a man who lost the only thing he was supposed to protect, and his search again for meaning or some kind of goal or purpose, perhaps to redeem himself some, or just to ease the pain. This concept is not just limited to Gintoki. His foil and antagonist Takasugi is a mirror of what could have been Gin if he gave into despair, or never found a new home. Each of Gin's former comrades approach the new era in their own unique ways, each finding some new drive after the loss they've experienced. Each and every episode, seeing which groups of characters would be together or where they would go, kept every arc refreshing, and the way dialogue adapted to the personality and relationship between the two characters never ceased to amaze. Conversation between Gin and Kagura, or Gin and Otae, would be, as they should, entirely different in feeling. And as the story goes on, while day-to-day conversations may remain largely the same, the serious conversations express a steady increase in how precious each character becomes to one another. For one of my favorite simple examples of this, take how different characters refer to Gintoki. Kagura, having found essentially a second family with Gin, uses Chan when referring to him, despite their difference in age. While this is often used in Japanese media to denote relationship statuses, as is the norm in real life in Japan. The sheer variety and detail Sorachi has put behind each honorific and nickname reflects the feelings that later get revealed to us as the story unfolds. Small details can make the difference between static characters and living beings, after all. I cannot name how many times I've been disappointed by there being no signs of relationship beyond dramatic speeches or declarations of being comrades on the battlefield. Sometimes the best way to show people becoming friends is just to change the way they refer to each other. My personal favorite of these is from Okita, a member of the Shinsengumi, the sometimes enemies, sometimes allies of the Odd Jobs crew. Just watching a few episodes, you might think, oh, there's this guy Okita. He's a battle-hungry sadist who loves nothing more than torturing others in whatever way he can. Alright, I get it. He's a static character primarily for creating comedic situations with his tendencies. Guess I can skip to the serious arcs. His character's not gonna change at all. Oh, Attack on Titan's not airing this week. Huh. Yo, when's the new episode of Attack on Titan again? What do you mean they're not airing this week? And then he starts talking with Gin, and I thought, hold on. He's calling him boss. Danna in Japanese. I mean, I guess that makes sense. He's the boss of Odd Jobs. But everyone else just calls him Odd Jobs, or Sakata-san, or Gin-san, or Gintoki-san. Of course, the difference in the way Okita speaks to Gin is not simply limited to his way of referring to him, but this is the most surface-level way to explain that he respects him, probably because he beat Hijikata. As an aside, there's one joke line of Zura calling Kagura leader, and it changes it so he calls her leader for the rest of the series, and it is always hilarious. Until it's not, and you cry. How a person acts when talking to their closest friend is not the same as when they talk to strangers, or even friends in a different group. You see different sides to everyone, and this is not limited to the comedy bits. Everyone knows when it's time to be serious, when it's time to cut the bull. And Gintoki, let me tell you, when this man gets serious, you're either about to hear the most inspiring speech ever about strawberry milk, die laughing, or pop off from the sickest action scene you've seen in a long time. It is always clear, however, through his banter, through his speeches, that he is relearning what it means to be connected to people. He's learning how to lead, how to give advice, and reflecting on a past that is revealed over the course of the series. Sorachi, the author, while creating a comedy show, balances these moments well, and it rarely pulls you out of your immersion in the drama, as you understand there's an emotional human behind every word, even when it's just some aside joke. Of course, with a large ensemble cast, there will be characters that get left behind, but when someone does get developed, they get the full treatment. They get backstory, flaws, strengths, a role, and exceptional dialogue. On the antagonist side, Gintama is not afraid to blur the lines between evil and good, making everyone a reasonable human. You can see where every faction, Odd Jobs, the Shinsengumi, the Rebels, and Takasugi, among others, come from. While not every villain will get the same amount of backstory or time to marinate, the ones that do leave a very strong impression. While the character interactions and banter during the comedy arcs are the main meat of Gintama, the serious arcs where Sorachi weaves all these threads together are where the show becomes more, greater than its peers in so many ways. If I were to compare it to food, the comedy arcs are like the appetizers and entrees a master chef prepares in a multi-course meal. All the flavors preparing your palate for the main course or the dessert at the end. Layer after layer of character development, whether a throwaway joke about someone being a fan of Shonen Jump or wanting a buddy to text with, nothing is wasted. Every bit is perfectly proportioned for the consumer's palate. Going any further and telling you what ingredients are in the dish or telling you what it tastes like wouldn't do the arcs any justice. But suffice to say, Sorachi is aware of your expectations and will play every moment out to satisfy them. Gintama pulls no punches with its drama, but it is also very comfortable with pulling the rug out from under you at any moment for a laugh. As the show has been going on for quite a while, there are times when the animation lacks, but it is rarely jarring. Especially when the serious arcs come into play, the choreography can be some of the best in sword-fighting anime, and every hit packs a punch. The people at Sunrise and Bandai poured their hearts and souls into every moment, allowing most characters a chance to shine. While not Ufotable's unlimited blade works, the composition of shots, especially in some of the later openings, are breathtaking. Gintama also has some of the best opening and ending songs I have ever heard, bar none. Standout bands like Spy Air, Does, and Burnout Syndromes made every arc have a unique feel to accompany new opening animations. And I've discovered a plethora of new artists while watching. My playlists are mostly Gintama right now. In general, the OST is very solid. The main song for the character named Takasugi would get anyone in the mood for battle. I personally loved my journey through the world of Gintama. It was wild and unpredictable, but also incredibly sad and heartfelt. I cannot wait to see how the movie ties the whole thing together this year. If you want more Gintama or other anime content, leave a like, comment, subscribe, or whatever, and let me know if there is a show you want me to review or analyze. Have a good one.